Damon only married me to spite Alicia. For 3 years of marriage, they remained entangled with each other. They hugged and kissed during filming, spoke in flirtatious tones during interviews, and netizens all said I was just a poor stand-in. I never got angry. I just smiled and helped him clarify every rumor. Until later, when I accidentally got pregnant and secretly had an abortion without telling him. He was furious, heartbroken, and fiercely demanded, "Why?" I gently touched his face and calmly answered, "Because I don't love you. The person I love is your dead brother." Everyone knew Damon married me just to make Alicia jealous. They had a fight before their wedding, and Alicia left the country in a fit of anger. Damon didn't indulge her and immediately turned around to marry me. I wore a wedding dress that didn't belong to me and married a man who didn't love me. Everyone said that once Alicia returned, Damon would throw me away. But in the 3rd year of our marriage, it seemed like Damon started to like me. He would make breakfast for me, coax me out of bed, and when I acted cute, he'd kiss me. At our sweetest moments, we were deeply entwined. In the dark of night, he'd whisper seductively, "Darling, give me a baby, one as obedient as you." We seemed like an ordinary, loving couple, until the day I found out I was pregnant for real. Before I could even tell Damon, Alicia came back. That very day, they reconciled. When Alicia returned, it was for a class reunion. I heard her family had gone bankrupt, and she was looking for people to borrow money from. When Damon and I walked into the room, we saw a rich male classmate forcing Alicia to drink, saying if she drank a glass, he'd lend her 100,000. Alicia was choking, her eyes full of tears, but she kept smiling and drank it all. When she saw Damon, she panicked, lowering her head in shame. Someone jeered, "Alicia, if you need money, just ask Damon. With the feelings you two used to have, if you sleep with him a few times, he'd surely help you out." Damon glanced over coldly and slowly said, "Don't disgust me." With a cigarette in his mouth, he leaned on my shoulder and continued, "Whoever dares upset my wife, shut up and get lost." Everyone laughed and started calling me sis-in-law, saying how lucky I was to have Damon doting on me. No one knew that if Alicia hadn't shown up, Damon wouldn't have come at all today. Alicia stared at me, biting her lip hard, holding back her tears. The man who had been forcing her to drink placed a hand on her shoulder and asked, "So what now? Looks like Damon doesn't want you anymore. But it's okay. If he doesn't want you, I do. If you make me happy, I'll give you some spending money. How about that?" Damon crushed his cigarette, his mood foul and his face turning cold. He was still heartbroken. Alicia, holding back tears, looked up at Damon and softly said, "I won't do it. In this life, I'll only love one person. Even if he doesn't want me, I won't let anyone else have me." Damon suddenly tightened his grip, hurting me. The male classmate, embarrassed, laughed and insulted Alicia, calling her cheap. "You think you're some virtuous woman? I gave you a chance, and you don't want it. Fine, I'll sleep with you anyway tonight." He grabbed Alicia and started dragging her out. Alicia, drunk, leaned weakly against him, half resisting, half complying. Damon's eyes followed Alicia closely. I could see that for her, he was ready to kill. Before Alicia could leave, Damon could no longer hide his feelings. He stepped forward and kicked the man holding Alicia to the ground. He pinned him down and started hitting him, his eyes bloodshot, cursing viciously, "If you touch Alicia again, I'll chop off your filthy hand." The scene erupted into chaos. Someone was filming, and I quickly tugged on Damon's sleeve, trying to make him stop. He turned and coldly asked me, "Who are you to tell me what to do?" I froze for a moment and quietly let go of his sleeve. Alicia rushed over, hugging him, crying, "Damon, don't fight for me, you're hurt, it breaks my heart. I was so scared you wouldn't want me anymore." Damon didn't push her away. He held her in his arms, protecting her. Everyone watched as he left with Alicia, abandoning me. That night, Damon didn't come home. In the early hours, Alicia posted a tweet, saying, "You said you'd never hold anyone else's hand again." The picture attached was of two hands tightly clasped together. The man in the photo had a red mole on the back of his hand, Damon. And I was that someone else he would never hold again. 10 minutes later, the post went viral. My haters left comments for Alicia, "Go, Alicia. You and Damon are the perfect match. You have to get back together. I don't care about morals anymore. I support Damon cheating." I just can't stand seeing that manipulative Sophia happy. So many people were waiting to see me fall. Some fans even left messages for Damon. Bro, that's not you, right? I've followed you for so long, I can tell how good your wife has been to you. You better not hurt her. Damon and I were tied to several couple endorsements, with huge penalty fees for breaking the contract. A scandal was the last thing we needed. The manager couldn't reach Damon and had no choice but to call me, asking me to come up with something to fool the public, to make it look like Damon and I were still together. I scrolled through my photo album and realized how few pictures I had with Damon. In those few photos, I was the only one smiling. In the end, I posted an old photo of Damon sitting under a lamp, reading a book. The soft light enveloped him, resembling the man who appeared in my dreams, the one who made me cry. The moment the post went up, fans rushed in with comments. Look, Damon's at home with his wife. If anyone dares say Damon's cheating, I'll tear them apart. Everyone cursed Alicia for being shameless and stirring up drama. Until a few minutes later, Damon retweeted Alicia's post. Beneath the photo of their clasped hands, he wrote, "It's me." He openly admitted they were together, exposing my attempt to save face. Once again, for Alicia, he abandoned me. Alicia's fans flooded my page, mocking me. Look at you, trying to act all high and mighty, and you got slapped in the face. Serves you right, Sophia, you lying cheat. Alicia gave you 3 years, and you still couldn't win Damon's heart. Pathetic. Who said I wanted Damon's heart? I deleted all the messages about him from my phone. I wanted a divorce. The next morning, I was called back to the company to handle Damon's scandal crisis. As luck would have it, I bumped into Alicia the moment I arrived. It seemed Damon couldn't bear to leave her alone and brought her along. The moment Alicia saw me, she apologized. Sophia, I'm so sorry about last night. I got drunk and posted nonsense, and Damon got all worked up. I've already scolded him. He's so focused on me, not thinking about you at all. Such a clueless man. Those people online said such awful things, calling you my stand-in. It's ridiculous. They don't know how much I want to thank you for taking care of Damon all these years. I smiled back. I'm Damon's wife. It's a wife's duty to take care of her husband. I don't need outsiders thanking me. But as for you, don't worry about being called a homewrecker. Just ignore it. Alicia's smile faltered. She glanced me up and down before her gaze landed on my ring. She smiled again. Sophia, you're wearing my wedding ring. Shouldn't you give it back to me? As she spoke, she reached for my hand. I was annoyed and accidentally hit her in the face while swinging my arm. Alicia suddenly swung her purse at me, the metal on it cutting my forehead, drawing blood. She hit me with so much force that my ears started ringing. I raised my hand to hit her back, but someone grabbed my wrist from behind. Damon suddenly appeared, coldly warning me, Sophia, dare to touch her, and see what happens. When I turned to face him, he saw the blood on my face and froze, frowning as he looked at Alicia. Did you hit her? Alicia shook her head tearfully and said, Damon, she called me a homewrecker and tried to hit me. I only hit her with my bag when I was dodging her. I didn't mean to, but I still apologized to her. As she cried, Damon's heart softened. Hearing her words, Damon gently patted her head and praised her for doing the right thing. If someone hits you, you hit them back. As long as I'm here, you don't have to apologize to anyone. Suddenly, I felt a pang of envy towards Alicia. To be honest, I cry quite easily too, but the person who used to feel sorry for me is no longer here. Claire, the agent, couldn't take it anymore. She pointed at me and yelled at Damon, this is your wife. Damon, are you blind? You're holding on to some green tea girl and won't let go. In what way is Sophia worse than Alicia? Did you forget that you once said you wanted to have a baby with Sophia? That you felt like you were home only when you were with her? And now you're hurting her like this. Are you sure you won't regret it later? Instinctively, I touched my stomach. Inside me was a tiny life, just starting to grow. Damon smiled faintly, casting a detached glance at me, void of any emotion, as he calmly spoke. Maybe I did like Sophia, but Alicia is back. I don't care who she is, she needs to step aside. In the past, maybe Damon liked me for a brief, fleeting moment. But now that Alicia was back, he was ready to love her. I took off the ring on my finger, the one that didn't belong to me, and handed it back to Damon. Damon's smile slowly faded. After a moment of silence, he reached out to take it. Claire grabbed my arm and glanced at my stomach, signaling with her eyes. Sophia, don't be foolish, you're already. Alicia interrupted, snatching the ring from my hand. She slipped it onto her own finger but quickly realized the ring was a bit small. Her smile faltered, and with a shrug, she threw the ring into the trash. Clinging to Damon's arm, she pouted, forget it, don't get mad on my behalf. I don't want a ring that's been worn by another woman, it feels dirty. Damon ignored her, his gaze fixed on me as he asked in a low voice, what do you mean, you're already what? I gave him a faint look before turning and walking away. Damon. I'm pregnant, but you don't need to know. Damon is an incredibly perceptive man. Claire's hint was so obvious that I'm sure he's figured it out by now. I've been on medication for a long time, and it's not good for the baby's development. This pregnancy was an accident, and the doctor recommended terminating it. I don't want to use this child as a reason to stay entangled with Damon. Before the surgery, I moved out of the house to avoid seeing him, to prevent any unnecessary complications. Though, honestly, Damon probably doesn't even care. He hasn't looked for me, continuing his life as usual. Claire sent me a video. It was from an auction, where Damon presented Alicia with a lavish diamond ring, and Alicia happily threw herself into his arms. A perfect match, yes, how could I forget? Damon had said it, Alicia is back. Neither Sophia nor her baby has any place here. It's for the best. The day before the surgery, I suddenly felt a surge of anxiety. I remembered that the jade Buddha pendant my mom had prayed for before she passed away was still in the safe at home, so I decided to go retrieve it. When I got home, I found that the password to the door had been changed. Standing outside my own home, unable to get in, I suddenly felt humiliated. Swallowing my frustration, I called Damon. But the one who answered was Alicia. She greeted me with a smug laugh, Sophia, today's my birthday, and Damon insisted on taking me to watch the meteor shower, so we won't be back tonight. I remember you telling him that couples who make a wish under a meteor would be together forever. It's so sweet that he remembered, I'm so happy. But I can't give you the code, you know. Since neither of us is home, it wouldn't be appropriate for an outsider like you to go in. I hung up the phone and entered the password lock. I typed in today's date. The door opened. The password was Alicia's birthday. All traces of my life in that house had been erased. The wedding photo of Damon and me on the TV cabinet had been replaced by a photo of him and Alicia. They looked so young and happy, with Damon holding her, smiling radiantly. The succulents I had cared for were gone, thrown out along with their pots. My study had been turned into Alicia's piano room. I stood there for a moment, then rushed to the bedroom and opened the wardrobe, only to find it filled with rows of lacy, sexy nightgowns, none of which were mine. The safe was on the bottom shelf. With trembling hands, I unlocked it and took out the jewelry, cash, and documents inside. But no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find the jade Buddha pendant my mother had left for me. The only thing she had left behind for me. Alicia knew about it, too. So she threw it away. Alicia had always hated both me and my mother. Back when we were in school, my mom worked as a maid in Damon's house. When Alicia visited with her parents, Damon's family introduced me to them, saying I was obedient, hardworking, and smart. Alicia pretended to be friendly, saying she wanted to be my friend. But behind my back, she sneered, so what if she's smart? She'll work herself to death to get into a good college, but in the end, she'll still be working for us. And her mom is so annoying, always smiling. What's a maid so happy about? Poor people giving birth to poor children, it's disgusting. When my mom came to pick me up from school, Alicia would call her a bad woman. My mom didn't understand and would tell me Alicia was just complimenting her, even giving her some homemade dried sweet potatoes. Alicia would throw it into the trash, mocking my mom, it stinks, even a dog wouldn't eat it. My mom was confused and embarrassed, her face flushed with shame as people around us laughed. I threw down my bag and pulled Alicia's hair. When my mom saw me getting beaten, she rushed over to shield me. Alicia's friend kicked her, and she collapsed, blood pouring from her. That day, my mom was diagnosed with uterine cancer. Those terrible cancer cells silently invaded and stole her life. The jade pendant was something my mom secretly prayed for on Ling Mountain, just before she died. She said that the Buddha on Ling Mountain was the most powerful one. I held back my tears and asked why she did it. She smiled and said it was a secret, that she couldn't tell me, but I knew. When I was young, I had a serious illness, and my mom had prayed on Ling Mountain for me to recover, promising to give half of her life in exchange for my health and safety. In the end, my illness was cured. The powerful Buddha took away my mother. When Alicia found out, she mocked me, saying, "Poor people and their superstitions. What's the point of keeping some piece of junk?" She should have just sold a kidney or a liver to get some money for her daughter. At 2 in the morning, Damon returned with Alicia. As they entered, Alicia clung to Damon's neck, whining, "Damon, will you stay with me tonight? I want to give myself to you." As she spoke, she leaned in to kiss him, but Damon turned his face away. I sat on the sofa, watching Alicia humiliate herself. Damon's eyes met mine. Alicia paused, then looked back at me, smiling provocatively. "Sophia, if I knew you were home, I would have told Damon to come back earlier. We didn't see any shooting stars tonight, and he was worried I'd be disappointed, so he insisted on setting off fireworks." "Sophia, I'm sorry. If you're upset, blame me, not Damon." I was a little drunk and stumbled to my feet, walking straight toward her. I asked bluntly, "Where's my jade pendant?" Alicia blinked innocently, still smiling. "Oh, you mean that jade pendant in the safe? As I was packing, I accidentally broke it. It didn't seem valuable, so I threw it away." Tears suddenly fell from my eyes. My hands and feet went cold, and my lips began to tremble uncontrollably. My mind was filled with the memory of the afternoon my mom died. She held me tightly, wiping my tears again and again. She told me not to be afraid, that she wasn't going anywhere. She said she had already talked to God. "As long as the jade pendant stays, Mom will stay." In a fit of rage, I threw my wine glass at Alicia. It shattered against the marble floor, and the shards cut her leg. She was scared and took 2 steps back, hiding behind Damon, pitifully crying, "It hurts." I grabbed her by the collar, hysterically yelling, "Where did you throw it? Where did you throw it?" Damon tried to stop me, and I slapped him, cursing, "We're not even divorced yet, and you brought her into my house? You let her mess with my things? Who do you think you are? Are you so desperate to sleep with her? Damon, you're disgusting." He grabbed me roughly, stroking my hair and trying to calm me down. "Sophia, calm down," he said quietly. "I'll take you to find your pendant, okay? Please stop crying. It breaks my heart to see you like this." The pendant was thrown away by Alicia this morning, and it probably hadn't been disposed of yet. Damon sped to the dump, driving like a madman. He stayed with me as we searched through piles of trash, his hands covered in filth, not caring about the dirt or the smell, even though he usually hated unclean things. We searched from dusk till dawn, but I found nothing. As the sun rose, I felt a wave of helplessness. The golden light from the horizon stung my eyes. I bit my lip, holding back the tears, determined not to cry. An elderly couple working at the dump noticed my despair and offered to help. Finally, just as I was about to lose all hope, the old lady called out, "Sweetie, come look." "Is this it?" I shot up so quickly the world spun around me. I ran toward her, pulling off my shoes as I rushed across the piles of garbage. The old lady held a sandalwood box in her hands, inside which lay the shattered pieces of my jade pendant. It was mine, but it was broken. I should have been happy. At least I found it, right? I tried to smile, but as soon as the corners of my mouth twitched, tears started to fall in large, heavy drops. "Mom, you said as long as the pendant stays, you would stay. But it's broken now. Will you still be here? Please don't go. Don't leave me." Damon reached out to pull me into his arms. He tried to comfort me, saying, "Don't be sad. I'll find someone to fix it." I pushed him away, shaking my head, telling him it was okay, that it wasn't necessary. After a moment, his voice turned cold. Through gritted teeth, he growled, "Sophia, every time you tell me it's okay, I swear I want to strangle you. Can you just rely on me for once? Is that so hard?" I silently looked at him. Then Damon's phone rang. It was Alicia. He hesitated for 2 seconds, but still answered. Alicia was crying. "Damon, I was trying to find you guys so I could properly apologize to Sophia, but I got lost. There's a man following me, and I'm so scared Damon couldn't be bothered with me anymore. He rushed out the door. It just so happened that I also received a text from the hospital. Today was the day I had scheduled my abortion. On Alicia's birthday, I lost both my mother and my unborn child. As I was about to be wheeled into the operating room, the anesthesia kicked in, pulling me into a dream filled with memories. I was 16, and through my own efforts, I had been accepted into the nation's top high school, the same school as Alicia, Damon, and the boy I loved. That was when my nightmare began. I never understood why Alicia loved bullying me so much. She and her friends stuck chewed gum in my hair and threw used sanitary pads into my backpack. They would trip me as I walked by and pour dirty water over my head when I went to the bathroom. I didn't just sit there and take it, either. The teachers knew, but they did nothing. One time, I had cramps during my period, and when I pulled out painkillers to take, Alicia snatched them from me. She grinned, demanding that I kneel and beg for them. I clenched my teeth, trying to endure the pain, but wave after wave of agony nearly broke me. I was terrified I wouldn't be able to hold on and would have to give in to Alicia. The other students were betting on how long I could last. I looked at the piles of red 100 yuan bills on the table and, unable to hold it in, started crying. Suddenly, someone leaned on my desk, casting a shadow over me. He picked up the money, counted it, and smirked. Not bad. I'll take this as your tribute to me. Watching him pocket the money, no one dared to make a sound. He waved his hand at Alicia, still smiling but coldly. Hand over the pills. This little sick duck is mine now. From now on, she belongs to me. Anyone who touches her, I'll deal with personally. Got it? He was Damon's delinquent brother, always causing trouble and never behaving. Honestly, I hadn't liked him much before. But that day, he helped me. I guess it was because he often got into fights and came home covered in bruises. The elders never asked for explanations. They only punished and insulted him. Only my mom cared enough to secretly tend to his wounds. Maybe he was repaying her kindness. From that day forward, this little sick duck had a loyal caretaker. When I woke up from the anesthesia, Claire was holding my hand, tears streaming down her face. I asked why she was crying. She told me I had been talking in my sleep for a long time. She asked, "Where did the boy you love go?" I looked at the tall building across from me and closed my eyes, whispering, He flew away with the wind. I turned off my phone and disappeared for half a month. Claire later told me that Damon had gone crazy trying to find me. The first thing I did after being discharged from the hospital was bring the divorce papers to Damon. He was silent for a moment, then laughed coldly. He glanced briefly at the papers before tossing them onto the coffee table. His eyes fell on my stomach, and he said slowly, "Before we get divorced, don't we have something else to discuss?" I smiled calmly and replied, "There was something, but not anymore. I got rid of it. Don't worry, there's no burden on you anymore." Damon's pupils shook, and he froze for a few seconds. He lowered his head and suddenly laughed. "Sophia, you disappeared for half a month just to do that? Huh? I was afraid you'd be upset, so I traveled across the country to find the best experts to fix that pendant. And this is how you repay me?" He yanked me onto the sofa, pinning me beneath him, growling, "Why would you do this to me? How could you? How dare you?" Maybe it's because I had always been too obedient before. Everyone, including Damon, thought I was hopelessly in love with him. I gently stroked his face and told him calmly, "Damon, the one I love has never been you. You look terrible when you're angry. You don't look like him anymore." Using someone as a substitute might have comforted me at first. But as time went on, I realized he wasn't the same. His smile wasn't his silence wasn't his, not even his hugs were as warm. I got tired of it. Damon knew exactly who I was talking about. His tears fell suddenly, splashing onto my cheeks. Funny, after all this time, I finally got to see something rare. Damon, always so composed, didn't even cry when Alicia left. But today, he cried because of me. How interesting. How disgusting. I wiped the tears from my face, looking at him with disdain. Don't feel sorry for yourself. The beginning of our relationship was always just a transaction, wasn't it? You used me to make a point, and I used you as a substitute. We owe each other nothing. Before I could finish, Damon cut me off. His eyes suddenly reddened, and in that moment, his expression resembled a lost puppy. He said, Sophia, you have no right to tell me we owe each other nothing. Do you know that when I gave Alicia the ring, I wasn't happy at all? I tried so hard to love her like before, but all I could think about was you. When you disappeared, I would wake up in the middle of the night, panicking. Sophia, you made me fall in love with you, and now you're telling me we owe each other nothing? Screw that. As he spoke, he grabbed my face, his grip fierce like a wolf's, his teeth clenched as he threatened, divorce? You're dreaming. Alicia, who had been hiding in the room eavesdropping, pushed the door open and walked out, looking disheveled and standing awkwardly in the middle of the living room. She choked up and asked softly, Damon, what are you saying? Just as Damon was about to get up, I grabbed his tie, pulling him close to me. I glanced at Alicia, who clenched her fists, and I smiled. I asked Damon, back when we were in school, even though we weren't in the same class, you must have known how Alicia bullied me, right? You can beg me not to divorce you, but the first condition is that you must get back all the money you spent paying off her debts. And right now, make her get out of here. Alicia panicked, crying as she spoke, Damon, everyone has moments of immaturity, don't they? Besides, you know I was just teasing Sophia back then. If she's upset, I'll apologize, okay? She then dropped to her knees and pleaded, Sophia, please, I only have Damon. Don't take him away from me, okay? Damon, you've seen how terrifying those debt collectors are. If you really leave me, if you take the money back, they might. Damon frowned, staring into my eyes for a long time before finally saying, I'm sorry. He always did this, telling me he loved me, but when it came to choosing, he always sided with Alicia. How hypocritical. I laughed and slapped him across the face. I cursed, so what was all that fake affection just now? You don't need to apologize. I was just messing with you. Damon, who you love has nothing to do with me. Damon's gaze flickered with pain before gradually turning cold. He pushed me away. He walked over to Alicia, slowly pulling her into his arms and softly comforting her, it's okay, don't be scared. It's my fault for saying the wrong things. I won't leave anyone, but I especially won't leave you, I promise. Alicia pounded his shoulder, crying pitifully but clung tightly to his neck, afraid to let go. Seeing her fear made me feel immensely satisfied. On the day Damon and I finalized our divorce, Alicia was there too. She clung to Damon's hand, terrified I might lure him away one last time. When we finally got the divorce certificate, she visibly relaxed. While Damon went to get the car, she took the opportunity to provoke me. While you were taking advantage of our fight, you got to be Mrs. Zhou for 3 years, that was my gift to you. Sophia, remember, you'll always be the poor daughter of a poor man. From now on, be careful. I'll ruin you. I grabbed her hair, causing her to cry out in pain. I leaned close to her ear, whispering with a smile, Alicia, I have evidence that you killed someone. She froze, her face instantly turning pale with fear. I stared at her, satisfied, and continued, but don't worry, I'm not as cruel as you. I don't want you dead. I just want you to live a life worse than death. After our divorce was made public, the scandal of Damon's affair couldn't be erased. But he didn't care. He was a male celebrity, and being Damon, such scandals barely affected him. There would always be people willing to forgive him. He began bringing Alicia to public events, helping her clean up her image and pave the way for her acting career. Damon had money and power, so these things were easily taken care of. The next time we met, Alicia had just finished shooting a big-budget movie and was making her high-profile comeback. It was an old friend's birthday tonight, and I couldn't refuse the invitation. Just as I arrived at the banquet hall entrance, I saw Alicia on Damon's arm, greeting me. Sophia, it's been a while. I heard you've been working on an indie film recently? Are you having some difficulties? Why have your resources dropped so much? In front of Damon, Alicia always played the obedient girl. She had long forgotten the words I once said about making her life miserable. She probably thought that since nothing had happened for so long, I was only bluffing. Claire, annoyed, retorted, Miss Tang, if you don't understand, don't speak nonsense. Indie films don't equate to downgraded resources. The director has won international awards, your comment is really offensive. Alicia's expression shifted for a moment, but she quickly recovered and smiled. She gently leaned against Damon's arm, pouting as she said, "It doesn't matter if I offend anyone. After all, I have my husband. We've always been like this. I get into trouble, and he takes care of it. As long as he's here, I'm not afraid of anything." I couldn't be bothered with her. After handing in the gift money and signing my name, I was about to leave when Alicia suddenly called out to me and pulled out an invitation from her bag. "Sophia, I forgot to tell you, Damon and I are getting married in October. I hope you can come." Damon furrowed his brows and gave her a subtle glance. No one expected me to stop, look at the pink invitation, and smile as I took it. I had a little chat with Alicia. "You two kept it well under wraps. I hadn't heard a word about it. Unlike my time, your husband insisted on live streaming the entire event, eager to let the whole world know we were getting married. It looked glamorous, but honestly, it was quite annoying." Seeing Alicia's expression shift, I walked away and tossed the invitation into the trash. "Mr. Damon, Ms. Alicia. I hope you both have a wedding that you'll never forget." I heard that Alicia and Damon argued for a long time about the wedding before she convinced him to change it from a secret ceremony to a full live broadcast. She's really quite foolish. What's the point of a public show for a wedding? What Damon really wanted to give her was protection, but unfortunately, she didn't understand. I counted down the days, waiting for their wedding. I wanted them to stand publicly before the world, as husband and wife, to live and die together, to sink into the abyss together. After that class reunion, I received an anonymous video. An old classmate of ours, telling me, Brandon's death wasn't a suicide. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I was too scared of Alicia's revenge." Brandon. It had been a long time since anyone mentioned his name. That night, I watched the footage repeatedly, finally understanding why he died that day when I was planning to confess to him. It was all because of me. On Damon and Alicia's wedding day, I sat glued to the live stream, afraid to miss a single glimpse of their happiness. Alicia, in her custom-made gown, walked slowly down the aisle covered in white roses. Damon waited at the end, looking so gentle. It was the perfect scene for a happily ever after. Under the witness of the priest, they exchanged vows, pledging to be loyal to each other, through sickness and health, never to part. That was when the chaos began. Suddenly, the internet was flooded with a video, filmed on the school rooftop. The footage showed two people, one of them unmistakably a younger Alicia, and the other a boy who looked a lot like Damon. It was snowing that day. Alicia stood dangerously close to the edge of the rooftop, swaying. Through her tears, she asked the boy, "Would you really rather watch me die than be with me?" The boy, clearly annoyed, replied, "How many times do I have to say it? I have someone I like." "Are you deaf?" Alicia didn't believe him and continued to plead, "Who do you like?" "Who? No one at school is prettier than me." "Don't tell me, it's that country bumpkin Sophia? What does she have?" "I've liked you for 2 years. I like you so much I'd die for you." Could she do that? Unable to stand the insult to the person he liked, the boy smirked coldly. "Alicia, I know exactly what kind of person you are. Your little tricks might fool Damon, but with me? You're way out of your league. I'll say it once, give me Sophia's photos. If you mess with her again, I'll end you. Do you hear me?" Alicia stared at him, speechless. After a long pause, she suddenly smiled, shrugged, and said, "You really have no taste, do you? Do you know how many people like me? You're just the least favored child in Damon's family. Why are you acting all high and mighty? I gave you a chance, and you blew it. You want Sophia's nude photos? Fine, come and get them yourself. If you can't, don't blame me if I spread them around for every man to see what that bumpkin is really like." She pulled out a memory card and held it high. As the boy rushed toward her, she suddenly crouched down. The rooftop was so slippery that day, and the wind was so strong. A boy became a butterfly, briefly fluttering before soaring away on the wind. I still remember how dark the sky was that day. He ruffled my hair and told me to wait for him after school, so we could walk home together. I held the confession letter I had written, blushing as I nodded. But he never came back. That letter is still safely tucked away in my school bag. In the live stream, someone halted the ceremony, showing Damon the video on their phone. Alicia's face paled as she grabbed Damon's collar, crying out, "Don't watch it. Don't, Damon, it's not true. I didn't mean for it to happen. His death wasn't my fault. I didn't expect the rooftop to be so slippery. How could I have known he was so weak, he couldn't even stand up straight? Damon shoved her to the ground. Her diamond headpiece fell, and her hair came undone, smearing her makeup into a mess. A swarm of reporters closed in, their cameras flashing wildly. The grand wedding Alicia had dreamed of became a public funeral. What a pitiful sight, but how satisfying it was for me, Alicia. I told you I'd make you wish for death, and I wasn't just saying that. The scandal stirred up massive public outrage, with people online continuously digging up and listing the bad deeds Alicia had committed throughout her life. Some of these were true, others were not. Netizens began discussing the impact of social status, family background, and upbringing on a child's character. Some argued that there are inherently bad children in the world, and I couldn't agree more. Alicia had a profoundly negative impact on society. On the day she was arrested, her face was haggard, and she huddled away from the cameras. As the flashes from countless cameras pursued her, she broke down in tears, pleading, "Please don't photograph me, don't cyberbully me. I know I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Please, just let me go." She finally experienced the taste of fear. She was sentenced to many years in prison. I heard that someone she had previously bullied was her cellmate. I think she'll be well taken care of. Damon was also affected by Alicia's scandal. He was blacklisted by the industry and expelled from the Damon family. For years, he had been a powerful figure in the industry, making numerous enemies, and now they were coming back to bite him. First, his large tax issues were uncovered, draining all his money. Then, people followed him around, causing him trouble every few days. One day, he was filmed being mugged by a group of thugs on the streets of America. During the struggle, he was stabbed. His life hung in the balance. There was also something rather amusing. Brandon's parents, who had never cared about him and had been indifferent even to his death, suddenly appeared in the spotlight, claiming Brandon was a very dutiful child. Although he had a bad temper, they said he had good character. Their tears seemed real. But they didn't even know what flowers Brandon liked. They placed large chrysanthemums at his grave. I had to make several trips to clean them up. Brandon hated chrysanthemums. He was very particular and always said they smelled bad. I cleaned up his small home and sat by his side, enjoying the sun. I wished I could talk to him. What would I say? Let me think. I'd tell him, "You still haven't heard it, but I like you."